What's going on, everyone? So we're back in it. We're gonna get on this door, get this thing hammered out. I'll tell you what, from all the crawling around and reaching under and standing in weird positions hammering, I can barely walk today. So I'm gonna try and get this thing done so I can be done with that. And then I get to crawl around on the floor when I do a quarter panel. But anyway, we're getting caught up on this thing, so check this out. So I'm getting closer to the end. I've done a little shrinking in here. We're a little bit oil canny up through here, and it's, as you can hopefully see, it's still a bit high there, and then it's dipping down. So hopefully as I dolly this, that's going to help pull that up. And I think we got a little bit of highs and lows in here. So it's going to be a little bit of possibly shrinking here, stretching here. I'm not real sure what we're going to get into there. And then, yeah, getting into this corner is going to be a little bit hard. It's right, yeah, this seam right here is actually the inside edge of the door. So maybe with a stud gun and a little bit of extra work there, we can get all this stuff out of there. You can see there's a big buckle here. Like, it's just like where they hammered all this down and wadded all this up. Like, yeah, and then I think there's actually a window on the back side of the door right in here that I can get my hand up through. So I think I can start working this out and kind of pushing and tapping around as I go. A lot of these little dents, little things like this and stuff, I'll put the edge at, like a lot of times I'll just go underneath with my dolly and I'll put this, kind of put a corner of this up so the corner's like in the center of that and tap around. If you can't, you don't want to like hammer and dolly everything because every time those two contact each other, you stretch. So it's like sometimes, again, it's just pushing this metal up. And so it's like applying pressure from underneath to push this up and then tapping around here will drive that up. And I don't mind, like on the top side, if I do stretch it a little too much, I can shrink it back. And it's just a lot easier doing it from the top than trying to flip it over and do everything underneath. So, but some of these little ones, I'll just work those out. Then I can dolly them. But if I just start like hammering and dolling and trying to beat this flat, by the time you hammer and you think of how many impacts, you get 10, 15 impacts trying to get this all, you've stretched it and now you're going to oil can again. So we're kind of doing both. We're kind of stretching and then shrinking back our oil can. And like I say, this is very time consuming, but we're definitely making some progress. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to start working on this. I'm going to do a little shrinking in here and stuff. I see there's a couple little waves up in here and just kind of where I was working. So we'll get all that worked out and keep on trucking. Yeah, I can see this is still a bit high here, so we'll shrink around there, get that pulled down, and get this little area to come up. But it's just going along and just kind of slowly working it and watching back here to see what's going on, if any of that's dipping and doing anything weird either. So anyway, patience is key. So here we go. Well, I've been working this out, and I'm going to have to do some more shrinking and stuff, but there's still some low spots, and I want to get this edge up. This in here is kind of oil canny and stuff, so I'm going to use those studs, and I'm going to start pulling all this up and get it up, and even if I stretch it too much, I can shrink it back, but this edge is going to be kind of a pain, and like I say, the door inner structure is in here. That edge right there is the inside of the door, so all this is right on where that edge of the door is, and it's going right up that edge. So I think I can use my studs. I'll pull it out. Even if I get a little high, I can shrink it back down. And yeah, get out of around this lock. And then I think I'll run a couple studs around here and get this folded up where they pulled that down and get this little bit of a gradual slope, because right now it's going and then just dives off and this is all pushed in. So I think with a few studs and a little creativity, we'll get all this pulled out. Once I get done pulling and doing what I'm doing, I'll go back. I'll shrink it all back. Hopefully that makes it where it needs to be. We weld up some holes, maybe a little more fine tuning, and this thing will hopefully be ready to put some goo on. So let's go ahead and stud this thing up. That's another thing too with that stud gun. I took a wire wheel, got in here and got all this out, but it does not stick to paint. So yeah, you want to clean out anywhere you're going to put those studs. So I went through and just any of the little pockets I thought I was going to put the stud in, I got them all cleaned up. So anyway, we're going to see how that works. I put a bunch of studs all over this thing. So not all of these I'm going to use that slide hammer to pull up. Some of these I'm going to use to just apply upward pressure and tap down the low areas to get all this to equalize. So Again, it's kind of reading what needs to be done. And if it's, where they beat this down, it raised it up through here. So some of it's going to be a matter of pulling and some of it's going to be tapping down, but it's getting that to be a consistent flow. And so, like I say, some of these I may not have to really use the slide hammer for. Then there's some of this in here that's obviously needs to be pulled up. And like I say, that's all kind of double layer and kind of a pain in the butt to get to. So hopefully we'll start off with this. Sometimes these things break off and you have to add a new one or whatever. But anyway, this is a good start, and I'll start pulling a little bit. I think I'm going to start in here and try and get this kind of worked up, and then that'll get this wave kind of relaxed, and then hopefully transition down into that stuff. So let's see how it goes. The end is near. So a lot of this is coming out. We're starting to get this. I'm a little low down in there, but I'm going to work that out a little more. But we're getting this top part. All this is getting pretty close to the same plane. I'm going to have some shrinking to do, but I'm going to use a little heat and see if I can get in with a bar and at least kind of pull this up to where I can get that crease out, and then I can shrink it back down and dolly it. But it's right kind of where everything in here joins together. But I think with a little heat, I can pull it up. I might put some studs on it and then pull it with the heat, but just get this crease out and then get it to where I can work it back and flatten it all out. But most all this is, at least it's got some gradual waves to it, but it's not what it was. And yeah, I think once we shrink this down, we're going to be pretty good. So let's go ahead and put a little heat in here and see what we get. We are getting some shape back in this. So I got that big crease and everything. I was able to come in with a bar. I have mangled up just one of these old bars like this, and I came in from underneath and I heated up, and I was able to just kind of push this up, get it up there, and then shrink it back and stretch that back. And we're getting our shape back now. So we're getting real close. It's a little high up through here. And then this is dipped a little bit, so I'm going to shrink that and then maybe dolly this up just a little. And I still got a little bit of ripples along here that I can, I might be able to do the same technique on those, or I might just stud gun those. I'm not sure yet, but yeah. And then I'm going to put a stud right in here and just pull this little corner up just a tiny bit more. And we're going to be pretty darn close on here. So yeah, and then we still got to weld all these holes, which might change everything we just did, but I think now we know how to fix it. So anyway, I'm going to keep working this a little bit more and see what we can come up with. We're getting closer. So this is a little bit low. I don't know if you can kind of see that little dish in there. And this is a little high. And instead of wanting to shrink this, I'm going to see if I can tap that down as I'm pushing up on this to get this to get the oil canniness out of it. And that'll give this a place to go lower, this to come higher, and hopefully split the difference. And we're pretty close. I still got a little bit of stuff I'm going to do with the studs here, but this is getting really close. So a little more dollying in through where that big crease was. But yeah, I'm liking it. So let's see if we can knock that down and bring that up. So that worked. Still just a little high in here, and I think once I shrink that, that's going to pull all this tight. And we're pretty close there. There's just a couple. Yeah, right there. We'll shrink a little there. One right there. But yeah, we are pretty good. So let me hit those real quick, and then we're going to put a straight edge on here and see exactly what we got going on. It's still a little weird in here yet, but I don't know. We'll see what I can do with it. But yeah, let's shrink that stuff down and see where we're... Alrighty. Although it isn't pretty, I think we got this thing pretty well. It's actually pretty close. If I put the old square on her and run her across, I mean, I got a couple little highs and lows here and there, but I am well within tolerance. I'll probably end up working a little more, and as I do weld all these holes, little things are going to change here and there. But she's a little lumpy yet, but it is definitely way better. I'm going to say 90% better than it was. So I don't know. But yeah, and then actually before I really do any mudding, I'll block this. I'll just run it, I don't know, maybe even do a guide coat or something on it. Run a block on it, find out if there's anything else I can work out on it. You know, just within reason. But at this point, it could take a skin of mud, and it's not going to be in too bad a shape. So I think I'll go ahead and weld up these holes, address that, see what changes, and we'll deal with that. So we're real close now. Well, we got her pretty well cleaned up, and I'm really happy with how this turned out. I'm still a little goofy in here, and I don't know how much more I'm going to do. They say that door goes right to here. This is all right on a double or triple welded edge, and it's just, yeah, it's just being a pain. But I mean, the edge is consistent. I mean, I got, yeah, a little dip here, but I don't want to roll this edge too much because it fit the car so nice. And actually I may have right there, but again, I'm gonna have to fit these a couple times and make sure this is all still where it was. And then it looks like I'm still a little low right in here, so I'll have to pull that up. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it. After I welded, there's a little something going on here, so I think it feels like it's a little high actually. So I'm gonna probably heat that and heat right there, and I think that'll take care of those. But yeah, it's definitely as lumpy as a potato, but it's just going to take a skin of mud to get that. And I mean, if I wanted to spend, I'm already 2 evenings into this thing, and I'm going to pretty much call this about as good as it needs to be. So it definitely is not going to have, if it's got an 1/8 inch of mud, I'd be surprised. But I got a couple little dings I still got to do. There's one on the other side there and that. And then I think it's pretty much ready to mud up. So yeah, I'll get this little bit done, heat those, get these couple dents out, and I can move on to Bondo. But once I get those done, that'll probably be it for tonight. So that's pretty much 2 evenings on one door. So, but we didn't have to buy another one, and it was cool to be able to save this. So I don't know. We'll get her mudded up and see what it looks like. But oh yeah, I was gonna set the whatever I did with it, my square. And like I say, we're pretty good. I mean, it's got a few spots that there's some daylight, but as we scrooge around here where all that damage was, we are pretty consistent. And this is where, like I say, I think I got a couple little spots there. I just need to shrink down, and that'll probably bridge some of that. So yeah, I would say that this was a win. So I'll get those little pieces fixed up, and yeah, we'll do a final look at this thing. And for these last couple little dings here, I used the stud gun. I tried to reach under there, but my window to get under here is about to here, and to try and reach over and get a dolly and do all that, I can't hardly do it. So I'm just going to pull these out, and then what little bit I can reach with that, I should be able to get in and smash all this stuff flat. So this shouldn't take too much, but yeah, let's get these things ripped out and we'll be done with this bad boy. Say hello to Mr. Potato Door. So it's about as good as I'm gonna make it. So I got most of this. It's still a little goofy in here, but it's just like I really can't get in with much to really repair this. I don't know, I could sit there with studs and everything and keep working on it, but again, it's as good as I need to get it for what I'm doing. But yeah, it's like I say, it's a little lumpy and everything, and if a guy wanted to go through and planish and keep working on this thing, but that's about as far as I'm gonna go. So this right here that is a spot weld right there, and there's like a little metal square thing in here that's part of the structure to the door, and it's kind of holding all this, and I don't know if it's kind of accordioned or what. So yeah, it's a little bit weird in here. So that's about the only thing I'm not real happy with. Like I say, the rest of this, it'll take a skin of mud, and it ain't gonna be bad at all. And it's still, it's still got its rigidity and everything. I can push on it. It's not all oil can. So like I say, I think for what I'm doing in my garage and building a car that, I don't know what I'm doing with it. I'll keep it or sell it. I'm not sure. But for me, I'm very happy with the way this turned out. So another good deal, and yeah, hopefully you guys learned a little something. There you have it. So I hope you guys got a little something out of this project. It was actually fun for me. It's definitely was time consuming. I got a couple evenings into this thing, but it didn't cost me another door skin. I think I improved my skill a little bit. And I really haven't had to do that much shrinking and messing around with something like this for a long time. And I don't know that I've ever shrank and did as much on anything as this panel, but I really didn't want to have to buy one, and it seemed like it was salvageable. It's not perfect by any means, but it'll definitely just take a nice skin of mud and we'll be good to go. So for my backyard garage stuff, it's plenty good. So anyway, thanks for watching. We gotta goop this thing up and move on to a quarter panel, and this car's coming right along. So I don't know if I'm gonna beat the snow or not, but we're gonna be close. So anyway, stay tuned for more.